Hello and welcome to John's Author Diary for the week ending November 26th, 2017. I've had a much better week than I did last week. I feel like I've been way more productive. The seasonal affective disorder hasn't been so bad this week. I dug out a daylight lamp and went to the pharmacy and bought some vitamin D tablets and had some really nice emails from some of the listeners to this show. So I really appreciate that. So thanks very much for the boost. I continued work on the collaborative post-apocalyptic project Black Death. I'm now 16 scenes out of 20 into book 2, so I feel like I'm making real good progress on that. I've also started writing what will probably be a short story, maybe a kind of novelette-length piece that's based in my Wasteland series. It's essentially set between books 2 and 3 because there's a gap of about a year between the books, and it's given me the opportunity as well to explore what the Wasteland is like during the winter months. So I'm really enjoying that. That's been really fun to do. It's a world I'm very familiar with, it's characters I'm very familiar with, and so far it has been the easiest thing that I've ever written. So this is probably down to the fact that I really know the world well. I know the characters inside out. And so I'm writing this as basically just a little aside. As well as writing, I've been listening to the audiobook version of my second novel, Night of the Wasteland, and I think we're about ready to go live with that. I've just recorded my author's notes. So once everything's up, I just need to check the corrections and let the narrator know that we're good to go. So that's really exciting. I think the narrator's done an excellent job. Really enjoy his style. I think it worked really well with my writing. And he's just signed up to do King of the Wasteland, which is the third book in the Wasteland series, so that's awesome. I listened to the audiobook of Guns, Germs and Steel by Jared Diamond this week. This was a fascinating piece of work, and I think the author did a really good job using science and archaeology, history of biology, to dispel a lot of myths about racial determinism. And it was essentially about how the development of technology about domesticatable animals and farmable crops had major impacts on the development of certain societies. I've done deep historical research before, but a lot of what I did in the past was very narrow. It was about one person in a very short space of time. It was a lot of archival research, looking at things like old letters and contemporary books and things like that. What I liked about Jared Diamond's method is he seemed to pull on a lot of different disciplines to try and give history a more of a kind of scientific approach. So I thought that was really good, really well written, deeply researched. So if you just have a general interest in history, I would suggest checking that out. And I think especially for people who are writing in the fantastical genres where there's a lot of world building, so fantasy and science fiction, I think considering the world from the same perspective that he's using will be really useful. And it's something that I know that I'll probably end up doing myself going forward. I've got some questions this week. Jessica Parker asked, if I could co-author with a famous author, who would it be? I've thought about this question since I've got it, and I think I've been flipping around the answer. My initial thought was George R.R. Martin could help him finish the Song of Ice and Fire series, because, you know, he's not getting any younger, and I really want to know what happens at the end. But then I ended up thinking about people like William Gibson, who inspired me during my early writing, and I think if I had to choose one person, it'd be M. John Harrison. I just love his style and imagination, and I think our humour would work really well together. I once did a writing workshop with him and talked to him quite a bit about his stories. And as a person, he just seems like a really nice guy. Lynn Sheridan asked, do you have any tricks to minimise inconsistencies in your work? When I do my first draft, I tend to just go through it as fast as I can, just get the words out on the page. In my second draft, try and make the sentences a bit less ropey. By the time I'm going on my third pass, I'll look out for things like, what's this person wearing? And I'll jot it down. And then in the next scene, are they still wearing that? If a person has an object, have they still got that object? And I've noticed a couple of things where I have been inconsistent that luckily I've caught out. And then as a kind of last layer of protection, I've got a group of beta readers. So these are people who will read the unedited manuscript and give me feedback on the story and things like that. And if there's anything that's inconsistent or I've done something wrong, then someone will let me know. So do keep your questions coming in. You can email me. It's john@johncronshaw.com. If you haven't checked out any of my work yet, you can visit my website, which is johncronshaw.com. There you can sign up for my newsletter and you'll get a free copy of Addict of the Wasteland, which is a prequel to my Wasteland series. So please do check that out. So until next time, cheerio.